Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, Senate President reads out names of last batch of ministerial nominees as the upper house screens 10 candidates. Drama as the Senate screens Alhaji Lai Mohammed, just as former governor of Ekiti State Kayode Fayemi defends 2.5 billion naira spent on government house. Suspected robbers attack 3 banks in Festac town in Lagos. A mother and 2-year-old child killed. And the Dutch Safety Board says flight MH17 crash may have been caused by rebels in eastern Ukraine.
On Business News tonight, Senator Udo Udoma advocates private sector stimulation if Nigeria must attract foreign direct investment.
And on sports news tonight, Real Madrid's Cristiano Ronaldo receives record 4th Golden Boot award.
It was a full Senate that sat today at the National Assembly to screen nominees for ministerial positions. While it was a rigorous process for some ministers or some nominees, it was drama for others. At the end of the day, the 10 nominees were screened. Our correspondent Linda Akibe reports.
Is going to adopt as his procedure that is acceptable.
And so it begins. The much expected screening of the ministerial nominees by the Senate. For days leading up to the screening, the Senate had, through its spokesman, promised that the exercise would not be business as usual. Lawmakers listed some requirements which the nominees are expected to go through to be confirmed. So all eyes were firmly set on the Senate to see how the exercise would play out. The senators began the exercise with one of their own, a former senator, Udo Udoma. But
these are very, very difficult economic times for Nigeria. With the dramatic fall in the prices of crude oil, public sector finances are under pressure. Many states have difficulty in paying salaries. The naira is being buffeted. The values in the Nigerian Stock Exchange have been seriously eroded. These are difficult times. Times in which all Nigerians of goodwill must come together to work with Mr. President to salvage the situation.
But midway into the questioning, lawmakers asked him to take a bow and go.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, I think the wish of the distinguished colleagues should be allowed. That is for the distinguished senator to take a bow and go. Thank you.
Is it the wish that the distinguished colleague?
I stand to second.
Nobody.
Yes. Ably moved by the majority leader. Yes. That the wish of the Senate, the mood of the Senate, is that this gentleman of honor, who is almost like Mr. President in terms of integrity, should take a bow. I just informed.
Is it the wish of these colleagues that our colleague Senator Ministerial don't take a bow and go? Yeah.
The next nominees to be screened did not enjoy this luxury. Former Governor Kayode Fayemi was made to answer questions on an issue which has plagued him since he left office.
Yes, I built a government house for the people of Ekiti. Ekiti is today 19 years old, one of the youngest states in the country, but it never had a befitting. In fact, it never had a government house. Anyone who had the opportunity to visit me when I was governor in Ekiti would know the pokey-choky place I was staying in, where you couldn't even have a meeting of my entire cabinet or my state assembly if I wanted to do that. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. And I felt Ekiti had a duty. We're not a second-class state, distinguished senator. We also believe that we have a duty to be respected and regarded in the Committee of State. There's nothing that I put in the government house in Ekiti that I walked away with. When I stopped being governor, everything there was left intact. Now you talk about furniture. I have also read, and many Nigerians have read, about 50 million naira bed. Anyone who knows me as an individual and knows my passion for frugality would know that I would not purchase a 50 million naira bed. There is no 50 million naira bed in the Ekiti State House, and I challenge anyone to bring an invoice of even a bed that is 1.5 million naira.
The lawmakers grilled the remaining nominees on different issues from security, agriculture, politics, governance and the economy. But when it got to the turn of the spokesman for the ruling party, it turned out to be a banter rather than a screening exercise.
In government, we will not be as harsh as you were to us when we were in the opposition.
Mr. President, in honor and in response to the demand of the members, I move that the nominee bows and go.
There's a motion on ground. But if I know the nominee very well, he may have one or two propaganda to drop here before he gets here. So, I would like to amend that motion while seconding. And in amending it, the nominee to exhaust his heart before he takes the bow. I
My sole vision and mission, if I'm confirmed as the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is that I am going to be as passionate, as committed, and as patriotic as I was when I was in opposition in government. Thank you very much.
The Senate eventually approved 10 out of the 21 ministerial nominees in the first batch sent by President Buhari. The Senate spokesman at a news conference afterwards said the Senate would immediately begin the screening of the fresh list of the remaining nominees. The upper chamber is expected to screen the 11 remaining nominees on resumption of plenary on Wednesday. Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.
Now, joining me to discuss today's screening process is a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Niyi Akintola. You're welcome to the news at 10.
Thank you very much.
Well, you watched the process today, and you remember that the Senate had promised that the process would not be business as usual. Do you think that's what played out?
Well, I think we are making progress. Let me get one impression. I did not watch the proceedings. I was able to catch a glimpse of the screening of about 3 or 4 of them. I mean, Dr. Kari Fahimi, Dr. Osage, and I think one other person. And of course, I was impressed by the quality of the questions. I was particularly impressed by the questions put to the gentleman from Edo State by the Senate Minority Leader, Godwin Akpabio. He actually captured vividly the mood of many Nigerians as regards the plight of young medical graduates. And I think the senators rose up to the occasion. I mean, we are getting there.
Well, you were impressed by that, but some of them had quite a grilling. It was relatively quick for others, like Haji Lai Mohammed. I mean, he had pretty much a smooth ride. Were you satisfied that the process is as thorough as it should be, seeing as some spent between 30 to 45 minutes and you had others spending about 10 minutes?
I think everybody who knows Haji Lai Mohammed, of course, a colleague and my classmate, everybody who appreciate the quality of the man called Lai Mohammed will know that Nigerians should not expect anything less from the senators, but the way they handled this. Here was a man who had been the spokesperson of the now ruling party for the past 4 years or so. I mean, he has actually worked himself into the minds of many Nigerians. You know what he stands for, you know his pedigree, and I'm impressed by the way he was handled. Even, again, the minority leader rose to the occasion. I mean, the man is probably trying to turn out to be a man to watch in the Senate. I mean, Senator Akpabio, when he said he was expecting Alhaji Lai Mohammed to drop 1 or 2 propaganda stuff before he leaves. I mean, and that actually attracted a lot of laughters and backslapping. I think it was a good outing for Alhaji Lai Mohammed. And of course, when you look at the way the gentleman, the doctor, was greeted, the senators rose up to the occasion. And I was impressed by that. I also watched the screening of the General Dambazao, which was another, session that actually captured my attention, and I believe it captured the attention of many Nigerians as well. The man seems to know his onions very well. I mean, issues like mismanagement of funds for the military, the welfare of the military guys, and our recent past experience as regards lack of equipment for the military, the issue of their pensions were adequately addressed. And the man was on top of the game. In fact, Senator Nara was up to the task by setting the pace, and I think it was a good outing, by my own reckoning.
All right, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Niyi Akintola, thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10 tonight.
You're welcome.
Now in part 2, after the break, more on the ministerial screening plus states without nominees. That's all coming up in a moment. Do stay with us.